And currently we have 46 startups incubated with us from the coffee and other agri-allied sectors. And we provide them technical and business mentorship along with capacity building programs for incubated startups. So we are also facilitating funding scheme under the Startup India Seed Fund, and we are also trying to partner with other institutions for funding arrangements. So briefly, this is what the Atal Incubation Center and Coffee Board does. So we have mainly created these online series of talks, create awareness about our incubation center, and to share knowledge with the entrepreneurship ecosystem, and create a platform where startups can directly interact with mentors from various coffee value chain. So today we have with us our mentor, Soni Samal. She is the co-founder and director of 72 DPI Skills Private Limited. And her company is a full service and integrated branding, marketing, and digital agency. And she's also the co-founder of the People Possible, focused on HR consulting agencies. And she's also been recognized as the Women Entrepreneur of the Year and also one of the top 50 women icon of the year 2023. Thank you, Ms. Soni, for accepting our invitation to mentor this Thought Cafe session. Thank you, ma'am. So over to Ms. Soni.
Thanks to you indeed, and my heartfelt thanks to Praveen. If I recall, towards the end of July, Praveen got in touch with me, and he was kind enough me to propose to have a session for the coffee enthusiasts across all the the ecosystem of coffee, businesses and marketing. So very grateful, Praveen, for being in touch with me and actively making sure that the session is finally happening. And with this, I would formally invite all the participants in this session, and I'm more than grateful to be able to touch upon so many lives, and a very warm welcome to my session. I hope the next hour will be as interactive as possible and as engaging as possible. And like we all say that most of us, rather all of us, are lifelong learners, and whatever that we do, whatever that we build, we make sure that the learning never stops. So with this, I formally start the presentation, and I make sure that I add a lot of value, give some insights in the next hour of my session. And please feel free to ask any questions at any given point in time, and I'll be more than happy to make this a more of engaging and a more of a dialogue than just a monologue. Yeah.
One request for all the participants, kindly mute your microphone so that there is no disturbance in the back end. Request Mr. Nagarajan and a few others, their microphone is on. Please mute yourself.
Praveen, hope my voice is audible and clear.
Yes, your voice is perfectly all right.
Thanks.
Just see whether you can load the presentation from your end.
Yes. I was just seeking your permission for that. Allow me a second.
Nandini,
Yeah.
please, sorry, Deepa, please allow her.
Yes, so she can send it, sir.
Yes, visible.
Yes. Hope my screen is visible to everyone.
Yes, it is visible.
Okay, great. To make this session more of interesting, I've created a very simple presentation where I will be touching upon the must-haves, the must-dos, irrespective of what stage or what level of business all of you are into. And I'll make sure that anything that, any questions or any suggestions that you have, you all are welcome to do that. Yeah. So with this, we are excited, and I'm formally beginning my presentation. For some reason, the slide is not moving.
At the bottom right, you can see arrows. Bottom left on your screen, you'll be able to see arrows.
I'm trying to do that. Bottom left, you said, right?
Yeah, bottom left.
Now it's happening. Thank you so much. Well, a warm hello and good evening to everyone. And I formally welcome you to the presentation of brewing beautiful coffee, branding, marketing together. And I make sure that at the end of it, you're more confident about your brand building, your marketing strategies for your coffee business. And I'm hopeful that we see a lot of promising and value-driven brands come up in the consecutive or in the future year. I think there's some.
Bottom left. Bottom left of your screen.
Or Deepa, will you mind sharing the screen so that we'll be able to manage?
Sure.
Yeah, I think there's some
Yes,
issues here.
Yes, just give me a minute.
Sure, please. It's happening, Deepa. Able to figure out. Deepa, you're there?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I'm able to figure out. Thanks for that. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, first of all, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude and a big thank you to the Atal Incubation Center, to AIC, CCRI CED, Niti Aayog, and the Coffee Board for this opportunity and making sure that we reach out and we create a lot of marketing and business value driven opportunities for the startup enthusiasts. And thank you so much, Praveen and team, for having me for the session here. Yes. So before I would like, to cover upon the marketing and the branding strategy, I would strongly emphasize on the important checkpoints that we should make sure that we have it in place before even we talk about the marketing and the branding. Some of the important checkpoints that I would really want to emphasize is make sure that as we start our business, we should build a strong and a robust operational process. Should make sure that our entire value chain of coffee sourcing and roasting process is completely aligned and completely streamlined. We should make sure that the entire quality control process is in place and the end-to-end that production inventory management has been taken care of. The packaging, and most important, the supply chain and logistics are in place. Because unless and for any given reason that we don't have a strong operational process in place, making sure that or jumping onto the marketing will definitely not help. So a very strong and important checkpoint is let's first build our business model strong, our value driven operational process strong, and then hop into the marketing. When I say the entire coffee production, the sourcing, and the marketing process, we make sure that the value chain that we're trying to build the business into, right from where do we harvest, how do we process, what is the process and the technology do we use, right from the drying, packaging, roasting, everything that we build a process and make sure that we document across all the value chain that we are trying to offer. And unless we have a very compelling and a very strong business process, it is not advisable that we move into building a brand or talking about marketing per se. As I just mentioned that before we talk about marketing and brand building, we need to have a very strong operational process. And parallelly, we must make sure that we have a business model aligned, which means, have we done our market research? Have we done our SWOT analysis? Have we done a pricing strategy is in place? And we must make sure that we understand the entire business in totality and then accordingly build upon the value-based marketing, branding, and communication strategy. Moving on to the next, the most important part where most of us or rather all of us are here is how do you build your brand with a compelling story, right? Once we have covered upon the operational process, the business model, the revenue, and everything is in place. Now let's talk about what is my story and what value as a coffee owner or as a coffee brand owner I bring to the table so that once I have my coffee brand being introduced to the market, it creates a compelling and a crafting story. So when I mention about a brand story, what do I mean? Essentially, when I create or craft a brand story, it highlights the entire journey, the entire problem that you with your product, with your coffee, you're trying to solve. So when you create your brand, make sure that what kind of compelling story. If I have to give you an example, like we have coffees being grown and cultivated at the hinterlands of Koraput. So our story in Odisha, we give a lot of emphasis about what is the weather conditions on which our coffee are being cultivated right from the tribal areas of Koraput. How is the coffee cultivated? How is the coffee curated? How is the coffee nurtured right from the cultivation, the entire value chain? How are we creating a crafting story and curating it across all the value chains of our brand building process? When we do that, we keep the origin, the essence in place, and how we curate the entire story with a passion, of course, and with the values and everything that we can add to the there's some disturbance.
Participants, kindly mute yourself during the meeting. We will be open for discussion when the session is over. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. So while I was emphasizing on the entire brand identity is basically creating a very narrative story, basis of which we'll be able to relate and communicate with the customers, with the audiences across B2B and B2C platforms. Next, once I curate the entire brand story, the entire brand identity process, I must make sure that the brand name I choose, the logo that I design, and the entire visual elements of my brand should have a complete replications or alignment with the brand story and the values that I'm trying to build. If it is a coffee from Koraput, what are the value chain that I draw significance from Koraput and I blend it with the brand of coffee that I create? It is most important that the entire brand building process must be built around a story, a very strong story where the customer can relate. Whatever array of a visual identity or the brand identity that we create, we must make sure everything is aligned. There is never a disjoint of your brand name, your logo, your design elements, and of course, your compelling brand story. So the most important part where we relate, whether it is the Starbucks of the world, the Nescafes of the world, or, and as I mentioned, the Koraput coffees of the world. What is the product name that I must, announce for my brand that has got a lot of relations and relatable understanding about my story? If I emphasize about building my brand story in and around the origin of the coffee beans from the place of my sourcing, again, the example is it a Kora coffee or Koraput coffee or coffee grown from Koraput? So how am I creating the product name that blends very well with a story-driven approach? So essentially, the base or the formative plan of a brand building process is making sure we understand our brand story very well. What value do we intend to offer from our brand story, and how we create a very cohesive, a very unified approach across all the brand elements or the brand essentials. Now, moving on to the next part of my presentation, I would really want to touch upon as to what did I cover. I started re-emphasizing the fact that before we start even talking about branding or marketing, let us build a very strong operational process. Let us make sure that our business model is very strongly built. We have all the information required to be making sure the basics of our business are in place. Then, as we understand the entire value chain, we also must emphasize the power of understanding the brand story and what is the kind of brand marketing elements or the branding elements we're trying to communicate through the brand name, through the product name, the visual style guides, the in and around about your brand marketing for your coffee brand. Now, when we have all the things in place, the most important part is how do we reach out to our customers across both the channels of our marketing, be it offline or be it online? How do I engage? How do I share the story of my brand, my coffee brand, my customers? Share the same passion and the same value like I have. Now, moving on to the creating a mode of online presence and marketing. Again, my key selling point through the presentation will be making sure that we create a brand story right. Once I have my brand story in place, I must create a very compelling website, very intuitive website, which is built around my brand story. Who am I? What am I going to offer? What is my value proposition? And what is the entire brand story built around? If I do that, I'll be able to personally connect with my visitors. Or if I just randomly create an e-commerce website, have my, and wait for my visitors to become my customers, then that may look like a distant dream. But what I strongly emphasize, once you create a very compelling website, which is very interactive, which shares your story, which tells the kind of purpose that you have, what passion that you bring as a, as a coffee business owners, what is your understanding about the brand and marketing of your coffee business, and then craft your entire website basis of that story, and you will see magic happening. Moving on to the next part of your online marketing, which is most important, is how do you engage with your audience everyday basis? See, once you've created the website, you have announced all the information about your business, so that people understand where you come from. But every day, how many lives you touch, what difference do you make to the business that you're into? There is your social media platform. So when you curate and you create content for your social media around a coffee brand, make sure it is all aligned to the story you have created for yourself and for your business. Whatever whatever content that you create through static posts, through video, through carousels, through interviews, through influencer marketing, everything is built around that story of happiness, which creates and co-creates a lot of opportunities for your users to be engaging with you. Next and most important part, we're talking about online marketing, and where we see a lot of confidence building is identifying the kind of influencers who you resonate with, who your brand resonate with, and vice versa, where the influencers resonate with you. The kind of celebrities, or influencer that I identified, can they represent my brand, in the same style, in the same tone, and in the same personality, that the outreach happens faster and more accurate. And that will make sure that the entire brand
Sony?
Yes, please.
Okay. I think we lost you for a minute.
Where did you lose me? I can just, touch upon that, Deepa.
Previous slide.
Is this the one you lost?
Yes.
Shall I repeat this?
Yes.
Sure. Okay. I just, once I was just giving some, a hint upon the social media marketing. I was just trying to also harp upon the fact that the influential collaborations specifically for the coffee business hold a very strong importance. When I collaborate with influencers, I must identify, do they resonate with my brand values? Do they understand the kind of brand story I would like to communicate? And in the entire experience, do they offer the same authenticity of the brand content? And vis-a-vis, influencer or the celebrity or the figure that I'm trying to collaborate with, do they resonate with us? So that we see a very long-term and a value-driven appreciation on that. Deepa, I hope I have touched upon right on this.
Yes, Sony. Yes, we can continue.
Amazing. So now moving on to the next part of the most, again, an important part of your online marketing is the email marketing, right? When we curate a website and we have an opportunity of signing up with your newsletter, or then you have a lot of announcements being coming up. So whatever engagements that you have with your subscriber list, you must engage them with the value-driven newsletters. And the newsletters, shares about all the happenings that you're doing, all the recognition you have got, any new produce that you would really want to emphasize on. Start, collaborating with your customers, with the users through this very strong marketing campaign through email marketing. And make sure that every email communication that goes out from emailers, it speaks about the same story and resonates very strongly about your brand. I think with this, I wanted to give an overview and an understanding about the entire opportunities of online marketing, be it your website, your landing page that you're trying to create, your social media marketing, your email marketing, and most important, your influencer marketing. These are strong pillars, I call them, these strong value drivers of reaching out to a lot of customers online and making sure that you drive a lot of loyalty and kind of, a good customer base who kind of look upon your business and your brand. Now moving on to the next, again, an important experience part of how do we create an offline marketing plan and strategies for the coffee businesses, which is value driven and which has an aligned strategy to your business plan. Once I have built my entire business model, my operations have, the entire is in place, the supply chain, the logistics are in place. We then talk about building a very strong online presence and online community And then we try leverage that and reach out to a lot of people through events, through partnership, through collaborations. And if I have an in-store, or we have got different stores that I have made available for my business, from both brick and mortar and online business, I make sure the entire story is carefully curated across all the value chains of my offline marketing through visual elements, through your standees, through your hoardings, your entire branding kit. So everything and anything, it talks about what is your brand story and what is the problem that you're here to solve, and why should I be happy and more interested to be partnering with you and be a loyal customer to you. Whatever events that I curate, whatever in-store experience that I do, they should have a very cohesive understanding and alignment.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is
Participants, kindly mute yourself during the meeting.
So the idea and the key selling point that I would like to communicate through my presentation here is make your brand story so strong that the entire value driven expertise and experience around your online, your offline, your influencer marketing, and all the elements of marketing is very much thoughtfully designed, is very well curated, in and around the entire brand story and your story experience. Now, this is most important. Okay. When we create the entire marketing opportunities in and around the product, we also emphasize that identify the other revenue stream, in terms of your merchandise, your accessories, where we can drive a lot of brand communications, brand recall for your product. If it is Starbucks of the world, the Blue Tokais of the world, or Koraput Coffee, and we have got a very handful and a very strong coffee businesses right in Odisha. So we can also work on that.
Pick up here.
Yeah. So there are different elements that we must emphasize around how do we create the right product mix, which complements and gives me a lot of revenue stream around my coffee businesses. And most important, when I create the entire offline marketing activities and also online, is what is the different distribution channels that I identify for my business. There I utilize my website and online store to connect to my customers. I have offers, I have reward mechanism, I have a lot of value driven initiative that connects with my customers, or I have a very strong relationship in and around the cafes where I present my brand, where I present my product to the respective, coffee enthusiast cafes, or I showcase that in my own retail counters. When I build the entire marketing strategy, I should also strengthen upon the distribution channels, the logistics, and the operation process, so that the entire experience is built around that we are a value-driven brand, and we make sure the entire value chain is not compromised, and we are prepared across all the ecosystem of the business that we operate. As I'm starting up, when I'm building a brand, it is very much important that I must speak to my customers across all the customer life cycle. I must interact with them and I find out, do they like my product? What is that they would really want me to improve on? Which are the different opportunity areas they would want me to be looking at? What is a taste that my customer appreciates? Is this something that I'm missing on my product? So it is very much important that we have a feedback mechanism across the online and the in-store experience that I'm offering to my customers. And I make sure that my brand story is very properly heard and understood. And I get the right feedback that will help me for my growth. And in case I don't get good feedback, but I make sure that I work on them and get back to the customers that, hey, you've given me this feedback, the experience was not that good, but we have kind of worked on that, and we would really want you to come back and just check if it is to your satisfaction or not. Once I've curated the entire process of brand story, brand engagement, reaching out to my customers, now most important part is how I can convert my customers to loyal customers. How do I make sure that they visit me often, they buy from me often, and together we build a brand? It is mainly through your loyalty rewards program, different customer retention program, that you can build around your brand narrative and make sure that entire experience is felt in and around your entire value chain of your brand communications. Well, they all say that, like most of us, we know that India is a tea loving nation, but the kind of coffee culture that we have been curating and been creating, the entire value chain of beverages, and actually we have been creating the entire pocket of your specialty coffee trend. I'm very confident with startups and businesses coming across with the specialty coffee, they will be able to leverage and bring in a lot of premiumness, a lot of stories that we have not heard with the Araku coffee of the world, the Koraput coffees of the world, and the entire value chains of coffees that India has. And some food for thought is when we have a coffee lovers, we are willing to pay a premium for the kind of coffee that we consume and the kind of coffee, the taste that we appreciate. So it is very much imperative that we must create a quality brand which really cuts and present it across, from all the competitions that we have, and it should be able to have a better brand positioning and has a better brand recall amongst the competitions. So whichever nature of businesses that you are into, what is the kind of produce that you make, but make sure that you don't compromise on your quality brand and use this, or you blend this, integrate the quality into your brand narrative, into a brand story, so that you can cut through all the competitions that you have and you build a very stronger and a very higher value driven brand. And taking this opportunity, I would like to present some of the valued coffee brands from Odisha. It's Koraput Coffee, Kruti Coffee, Big Cup Cafe, Odisha Coffee are the stronger names that we've been able to build around, and we are hopeful to get some beautiful and again shining coffee brands from Odisha, which are able to create the right opportunities in the global market as well. With this, I end my presentations, and this is, I think this coordinates can be shared with the team later. And taking this opportunity, I would also like to highlight my mentorship with Stanford, with Incubate, with Universe and Startup Odisha. And I enjoy mentoring coffee business enthusiasts, people in the food businesses, helping them create the entire value chain in a more strategic, in a more thoughtful way, and so that we can create and build very valued and a meaningful brand from Odisha, from India, which has got a global outreach and I get better networking opportunities. And with this, I end my presentation, and I'm open for any questions, any suggestions, and looking forward to be hearing from all of you.
Yes, thank you, Sony, for the beautiful presentation. In fact, it was really insightful. A lot of new strategies we were able to see in your presentation. I believe the today's session has definitely helped the participants to understand and self-evaluate what branding mistakes they might have done or they might have not explored so far. So now we will open the forum for discussion. So if any participants have any specific questions, please click on raise hand icon so that we can allow one by one and we'll interact with the speaker. So who wants to go first? We have Mitra. Yeah.
Okay, hi Sony. It was very nice hearing your presentation. So thank you for that. I missed one part of your slide deck. It was I lost the connection. So if you could just go back to the distribution channels, I wanted to understand the wholesale partnerships a little bit.
Okay, so Mitra, can we connect one-on-one? Because it's a very direct question. I will be more than happy to connect with you one-on-one on that.
We could, but I just wanted to see your slide once, if that is okay.
Yeah, sure. Just a second.
Okay. When you said that we would connect one-on-one, it's brilliant because I was thinking that as well, because we are just launching our products in this coffee conference upcoming next month.
Yes.
We are a value chain of coffee, but not coffee directly. We work with spent coffee grounds, and we've developed a couple of products as of now. A few other products are still under R&D. But we will launch with the ones that are ready in this coffee conference. And with regard to that, since you actually focus on the coffee business, because I saw your clients to be these coffees of Orissa, and I am from West Bengal, Calcutta.
Wow.
So I was anyways thinking that if we could start brand building exercises, get some insights from you, how to handle it, etc., we could talk one-on-one on those for certain.
Sure, because Mitra, the objective was just not to come and give the entire insightful information, but do a lot real-time problem solving, and just to help you bridge the gap as to how we can create a very simple and a very meaningful brand story which resonates with your customers. Yeah,
right. We are working on it. So we have a digital team and they're doing great, but it's not always a lost cause to learn something new, right? So we are doing all those that you have mentioned, because those are the fundamentals of marketing, fundamentals of growth strategies, fundamental of customer retention.
What's the question?
And all of it is
there a question?
great. Yes, the question was with regard to the slide on distribution channels. So now that it is up on the screen, I just wanted to understand relationships with local cafes, restaurants, retailers to distribute your products through wholesale channels. So when you state this, I just wanted to understand, because we are an ingredient kind of product, is there a specific way if you do not have an on-premise shop to connect with these other than like websites and stuff?
So what, Mitra, how we do is we basically try to understand the expectations from your wholesale partners. Okay, and what is that you're trying to supply them to? Okay, in case you don't have any retail outlets, Mitra, and you would really want to cater, you've identified few cafes where you would like to partner and collaborate with and make sure that your product is there in their in their displays or in their consumptions list. So it is important that you clarify the expectations that you have from them. You have things documented, and you make sure that what is the expectations you will be able to address them to, and then you make sure that you work on that. You don't really under work on that, but rather make sure that you meet that over the time to come.
Thank you, Soni.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you so much. Any other questions, please?
Hi, I'm Naman. Can I shoot my questions forward?
Yeah, Naman, please. I'll be more than happy to see your faces, because it feels very awkward to talk to a blank screen.
Sure.
If you're comfortable, you can just switch on your videos. I mean, I'll be more than happy to see faces than just a blank screen. Honest doesn't seem good. Yeah, please, Naman.
Hi. So I had just 3 very quick questions. So the sort of smallest question is, how do we work on the spend for marketing, right? Okay. So I've read online that 10% of your expected revenue, etc., is a good sort of benchmark to start off from. But right, when you're just starting off, you don't expect that much of a revenue, and it's kind of impractical to start off with just a very meager amount of marketing spend, right? So how do you sort of approach marketing guidelines for a startup that is not expecting much revenue to begin with?
Okay, I think, Naman, this is a very obvious question that I get from my associates, from my partners, and the coffee, brands I mentor. So, making sure that you address your priority list, right? And since you're starting off a business, it's important that you budget for your business. And most of us I've seen failing is we don't have a budget in place. I say that is something which is not advisable. Once you start creating your business, have the entire SWOT analysis, like I've mentioned, your business model canvas, build around your business around BMCs, and identify what is the financial spends that you're willing to make. And once you're starting your businesses, whether it's a seed funding or it's a bootstrap business where you have funding opportunities, and make sure you utilize that fund. It is unadvisable to overspend. It is also unadvisable to underspend. But making sure that you cater to your priority list as to what should be your branding strategy, what should be a marketing strategy. Are you working with an in-house team or do you have an agency in place? So the entire cost commercials have to be aligned, understanding what is the business model you are trying to build, what is your business goal that you have for this year or for this quarter or for this half yearly, and then and then setting your budget accordingly, Naman.
Mm-hmm. On that note, you'd mentioned something about working with an agency or working with an in-house team. So obviously, I don't really have experience with marketing, and you're the expert here. So I'd love to understand your insights on which is a better approach in terms of which is optimal and which is cost effective. Both of them can definitely be different, but I'd want that insight as well, please.
Naman, it all depends on what is the skill of the founder. Okay, if the founder has got a lot of financial skill, but not really marketing or branding skill, it is advisable to work with an agency because you will be able to be working in a very multidimensional approach. But if the founder by himself brings a lot of marketing, understanding, branding, so then he has an in-house team where he can, because the team will be more dependent on the founder or the business head himself in terms of decision making. But when you work with an agency, the idea is you already have everything built around the must-dos, the kind of the checklist for your business. So depending on what is your skill that you would like to focus at, what is the value that you bring to the business, and accordingly making the right choice where your dependencies will be less on the given teams.
Right. I'd love to sort of talk to you, book an appointment about the business plan and the sort of marketing spend that is ideal, right? Like you said, I don't want to underspend and I don't want to overspend as well, right? But understanding that fine line, I think with expertise that becomes easier. So if possible, I'd love to book an appointment with you.
Yeah, Naman, what we're also doing is, after this presentation, we have created a form which kind of gives me an idea as to where you all stand, so that we can take a very, collaborative decision or a call. If most of you have one common problem, might as well address it all together. So I would request you to go through the form, fill in the details that will have me an understanding about the business, and feel free to share me as much as information. I'll definitely get back to you on that, Naman.
Sure. One more question was with regards to quality, right? Like the whole specialty coffee movement happening in India being a producing nation for coffee. How do we speak to a cafe or how do we speak to an end consumer about quality and the cost that comes with quality?
Okay, Naman, when I speak about quality, so the quality should be across all the value chain. It should not be only at the end product. The quality from where you source, or even before you source, what kind of seeds that you source so that you get the right germinations in place, or what kind of coffee buds that you have, from who do you source, what conditions do you source, how do you make sure that you process it, how do you make sure that the entire value chain of packaging it, roasting it is in place. So the quality, the standardization have to be done at every phase of your life cycle, of your product life cycle per se. So once you make sure that everything, and of course, the lab testing, the certifications are always welcome for that. And you have associations like Coffee Board and different organizations which help you create and give you certifications around it. So then you can very strongly and say that we are certified coffee brand, and this is why we price it in a way that we do. We make sure that every process is protected, and we don't compromise on the quality across all the value chain. Is that answer your question, Aman?
Yeah. That. Thanks for that.
I want to ask only one question to you.
Yes, please, sir.
Is it possible for you to make these printout, the hard copies, available with my regional research coffee board center at Tandikudi channel, so that we can show it to the small growers of this area and they will get benefited out of your nice presentation? Is it possible, madam?
Yes, I have shared with the team.
To answer this question, Nagarajan sir, we are going to send the soft copy PPT for all the registered participants today, along with the contact details of the speaker. And also today's webinar is recorded and it will be uploaded in our official YouTube channel as well. And we will be sharing the link to all the participants by email so that you can view it once again. If you have any queries or somebody has missed attending the today's webinar, can get access to it. So beyond this, if you need any specific documents, then I think Sony will be definitely going to help you out.
Nice presentation. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
please.
Yes.
Yes. I'm from Idigi, Vandiperia.
I can't hear you, sir.
Idigi district, Vandiperia.
Okay, sir.
I am a entrepreneur in coffee. Like you just started before 1 month. So I applied for AIC CCRI Karnataka, but I did not get any details from there. So I'm looking forward to move forward to financial assistance at the same time some value addition of coffee products. So basically, I am engineering graduate from MTech. So I need help from AIC. Yes,
I think this question, yes, I can answer. Yes. Yeah. So, sir, you can do one thing. I will drop my email ID in the chat box. Okay, you can directly reach out to me with your details. I'll get back to you. I've sent my email ID in the chat box, so please note it down.
Okay.
And this is my number also. I'm sharing my number also. You can call me. Okay. I'll be happy to assist you. Thank you. Yes. We have a question in the chat box. I'll just read out on behalf of Bhavika. So the question is related to partner estates. What's the minimum presence online that you would recommend for the traceability to make better sense for the roasters or curators? Example, Kurehaklu has their own estate branding via Instagram, which helps other brands sell their coffee. Any similar recommendations that you give? The question is in the chat box only. Yeah.
Just a second, if I can just look into the question. I'm just reading out the question. Bhavika, question with respect to partner estates. What's the minimum presence online that you recommend? Would recommend for the traceability to make better sense to the roaster? So Bhavika, like I've emphasized, the basis that you look for your partnership opportunity is what is the value alignment? Okay, so is there a convergence of what is that you're trying to offer and what is the partnering roasters or curators have in place? Like the biggest example I would like to make here is Blue Tokai. When the coffee is from Koraput, the Odisha coffee that we got collaborated with Blue Tokai coffee roasters, with Matt and with with the entire team of Odisha coffee, we saw a lot of value-driven understanding as to what we are trying to build and how they are trying to build Blue Tokai. So it is important that whatever online presence that they have, that is fine. Of course, they have got a lot of fan following. But is there any convergence around the business values that we have? There should be a unified approach, a unified goal, and a unified vision from the coffee growers or the startups, coffee enthusiasts, along with the the roasters or the curators. So I think that is what you must look into before just being luring into their online presence or the fan following that you have, Bhavika. It answers your questions.
Thank you. I think Mr. Akarsha BM has raised his hand. Mr. Akarsh, you can ask your question.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. Sony, thank you for your presentation. It's been wonderful to hear you and the presentation as well. I have a bunch of questions, but with the interest of time and interest of other participants, I'll just stick to one or two probably.
Yes.
One of the elements, if you can elaborate on, about setting up the online stores, right? So when we talk about online presence, people these days also talk about, how can we buy your product online and how to set up an online store and what are the best viable options. Because when we talk about online store, it's a complete integration. It's not just about going to the website. It's about choosing the product, creating your cart, then going into the shopping gateway, and then making the payment, ensuring that the invoices are generated, and then the product is processed at the back end, then it is shipped, and then the customers are also kept in loop. This is a very key element of online presence, right? So if we have websites, Instagrams, but don't have a marketing strategy there, so then we might be losing out on a lot of customers. So what are your suggestions about setting up these online stores, and how much and how should the the entrepreneurs go about doing this? So that's my first question, please.
Yes, Akash, thanks for bringing that question, because I really wanted to answer this question. Yeah, because when we emphasize on the online marketing, we kind of broadly understand the online experience, right? And I would again go back to where I started this. What is the brand story I have, as a coffee maker, or what kind of, am I targeting to a B2B or a B2C coffee brand? Who am I targeting to? If I'm a B2B, and my entire content strategy will be different and making sure the experience is accordingly driven. But if I'm a B2C or a D2C, business enthusiast, I should make sure that I understand what you're looking for. And of course, as a specialty coffee, my price points are accordingly defined. I will definitely not make sure that the entire shopping experience, online shopping experience, is complicated. I will make sure the entire shopping experience is genuine, it's simple, and it is very effective, wherein it should be as easy that we are buying from a supermarket. I go, I do, and I get back, and I have got everything with me. So whatever platform that you choose, but you make sure that you take care of your customer experience, you understand, and you accordingly build around the entire value chain. And you have already touched upon, I experience the UI, UX of your website. What is the intuitive design that you have? You make sure you introduce me to the other variants that you have. What are the other offers, opportunities that you are giving it to me? If I check out, what discount you're giving it to me? What kind of impulsive buying behavior you're helping me? And if we make sure that once the entire shopping experience is fulfilled, and we touch upon the customers once the product is been given, delivered. Now, ma'am or sir, you've tried a product, give us an understanding as to, or share us your story of how did you brew our first coffee from us? What did you love about it? Was it easy for you, or tell us how we can make it more easier? So not just leaving a customer from where the checkout or the entire experience has happened, but you be with the customer once the package is being consumed and the experience has been happening. So to answer your question, needless to mention, the entire experience has to be very even and very warming, but also speaking to the customer that we are grateful that you shopped online from us, and tell us, did you like the product with the same amount of love as much as we created it for you? So that will be more of compelling. Yeah.
So are there any quick and easier options for setting up online stores, like a plugin or an app or anything that can be integrated into the website, so which can give a seamless online shopping?
One more question. Hello.
See, Akash, usually what we do is we custom build websites. We have never promoted anything which is which is through Shopify or Wix. Okay, so because we understand, for every startup, for every business, the entire experience has to be very unique. It should be as unique as your business. So we curate websites, e-commerce website in the most simplest way with the right platform. We make sure that security is not compromised. The entire story is very seamlessly built. So it is not right for my part to announce any ready to use opportunities available. But what is more preferred is Shopify or Wix. But we kind of make sure that we create very value driven websites which ultimately builds and brings up a brand in the times to come.
Okay, that's helpful. Yeah.
Thanks.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Okay, so we know that organic farming is good at the same time in future generation. But what type of challenges are faces in entrepreneurship at the same time organic products? So can you explain?
I'm sorry, you have to repeat the question. So I didn't get the question clearly.
Yeah. We know that organic farming is now good for our culture at the same time future generation. But at the same time, what type of challenges face on entrepreneurship? Because right now we are doing not organic at the same time organic, but in particularly organic. So what type of challenges are we face? That's the thing.
So I think your question is related to more towards the farming and the farming opportunities, if that's right.
Yes.
Yeah, I would like to pass this question to Praveen and give it to the expert, because I may not be expertise in terms of the farming opportunities for for the coffee growers. Praveen, if you can just help him address this question at a separate window.
I think, Palaniswamy sir, what you can do is, since I have already shared my phone number, you can directly call me, or you can send your requirements by email. I'll connect you with the staff of Central Coffee Research Institute, where they will be the right people to help you out in this regard.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, sir. I think we are about to end today's webinar. So I thank all the participants for actively asking questions, and definitely it is a challenging for us to host webinar post lunch because everybody will be feeling sleepy, right? So I thank the speaker to taking us through the engaging slides, and also answering the questions asked by these participants. And this is just a beginning. We will be having few more webinars like this, and I wish more and more participants come and take benefit out of it. It's a completely free platform to connect with the mentors, and this is an opportunity for us also to learn and understand the grassroots level problems these startups or any coffee businesses are facing. And kindly note that the webinar topics are not just related to coffee industry. We are going to come up with few general topics as well, because business or startup is not just meant for coffee, right? So, as even though we are a Atal Incubation Center who wants to support coffee-based startups, but we also want to support agri and allied sectors as well. So, in this regard, our upcoming webinar topics will be little generic also, maybe something related to validation of your ideas or drafting a business plans, right? And for managing your financials. So, we'll touch upon different topics. So I thank my team also for coordinating with me to host this webinar. And there is a link that we have shared in the chat box. So please put your feedback there. That will help us to improve this program. And I also formally welcome everybody to take part in upcoming World Coffee Conference, which is happening in Bangalore Palace from September 25th to 28th, where more than 80 countries, delegates, startups, and experts are participating. So definitely that will be a very big platform for coffee industry, and also an opportunity for us to showcase India's coffee to the global platforms. So I thank again. So if you have any questions that are not answered in today's webinar because of shortage of time, please feel free to reach out to the speaker directly, or you can send email to us. We can redirect that to the speaker and get back to you. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Praveen, for having me, and looking forward to connecting.
Sony's numbers, like contact details?
Yes, we will be sharing, madam. Email ID I have already shared. I'll send you the personal phone number as well. Sony, with your permission, can I share the phone number with the participants?
All yours, Praveen. I have no problem on that.
Okay. Thank you. We'll do it.
So
Thank
the
you,
phone
everyone.
number and the email ID has been shared, sir, in the chat box.
Okay, we'll send by email also with the PPT and the video link for today's recorded session.
Thanks, and I'll be grateful to have your feedback. Tell me, help me improve on my presentations in the times to come. And all my best wishes to one and all here. And special thanks to Praveen for being immensely, active, supportive, and special thanks to Deepa for making sure that we conduct this session. And thanks for having me, and looking forward to seeing you in person in the times to come. Take care, everyone.
Thank you very much. I was about to ask, but the time is not permitting. Okay, fine.
Kalyan, you can go
Sorry.
ahead. Yes.
Yeah, please. I'll be more than happy to answer you.
One thing I just wanted to know. So that's the only thing.
Can you be a little louder, Kalyan? Sorry, I can't hear you well.
Yeah. Am I audible now? Actually, I don't know my
figure out.
iPad is not working, so I have to connect with the phone. So that's the problem.
Not very clear, Mr. Kalyan.
So, now am I audible?
I can manage. You please ask your question. I can manage to hear. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to know that there are certain people around that talked. I had some international query regarding the corrupted coffee. Okay, from the Europe itself. So I tried, but I didn't get any sort of solution from Koraput itself. So am I audible?
Yeah, please propose your question.
Yeah. So, and I have seen certain things. I've asked to Chikmagalur also for some of the coffee samples to the private buyers, like producers. But I found out that some chicory seeds are there in the coffee beans as well. Okay. So how we can check out about the admixtures or any authentic, producers or someone where we can talk and I can have some quality materials so that I can send it to my European clients and talk regarding that certain person. So that would be so kind, Sony.
Yes. So
Yeah.
Kalyan, I'll connect you once you reach out to me officially. I'll connect you with different organizations which are which are focused on quality, and we are looking for. We're already shipping to international companies and countries. We can do that. You can drop me an email. I'll get you introduced. Just have a clear introduction of your background, your profile, because before I do that, I would like to understand more about you before I recommend. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually PhD scholar in Novivici. I worked with World Bank for a few years into the educational system establishment in agriculture universities. Currently, I'm doing my PhD on social science. I have a specific interest in coffee. I have a few relatives who's having land over there in
Very nice.
friends and relatives.
I think the world is a small place, Kalyan, because I only, in this week, I had given a presentation. I've been to OUT college. I've done a presentation with all the students, with the BTech and MTech students, and I've met them and I've also spoken to them. It was a small world, Kalyan. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah. By the NAHE project, if I'm not wrong,
Come
to
again?
the engineering college. By the NAHE, National Agricultural Higher Education Policy, IDP planning programs and all. I think so. They have some industry and academia collaboration. So we should connect so that we can go forward.
Yeah. Looking forward to. Please. Thanks for that. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Sure, Kalyan.
For giving me the platform to talk.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for that.
Kalyan, yes, you can connect with her. You can write an email with your specifications and you can get. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are we good to close on this?
Yes, thank you, participants. So we'll close the meeting. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much, and all my best wishes again. Bye. Take care.